Okay, g'day everyone. It's Eddie Chustovic here again with you guys, and as part of our Ideas to Innovation Industry Lecture Series, today we have two wonderful guests. Originally, we only planned one, but we're lucky enough to have two gentlemen join us from the Australian Turntable Company. We have Paul Chapman here. Paul, do you want to give everyone a quick wave? There we go. There's Paul, and we also have Samir Verma joining us as well. And I'll just give a quick general introduction to both of them before they enlighten us with some vitally important information. And today's presentation is really titled From Bendigo to the World. I admit I actually put that title down, but I'm pretty sure Paul and Samir actually agree with the title, because it does speak about Bendigo's capability, in particular, in this case, Australian Turntable Company's capability to sell to the world Australian ingenuity. So Paul Chapman is someone who is widely recognized, not only in Bendigo, but across the state and probably in Australia as well, as an innovator, as someone that's pushing the boundaries of what regional manufacturing is all about. He's the founder, managing director, and executive chairman of the Australian Turntable Company, ATC. The company is 28 years old. I assume probably 29. Was it 28 or 29?
Actually 30.
30, there you go. I apologize. My introduction is a little bit out of date, but 30 years old and a specialist world-leading engineering company designing and manufacturing mechanical rotational movement systems. So ATC's core business is delivering traffic management solutions through space optimization in the residential, commercial, mining, and construction industries. Subsidiary divisions are ATC Mining, ATC Arts. Paul has fostered a strong global quality and innovative mindset to allow ATC to export its products to many countries. Under Paul's stewardship, collaborative research projects with Melbourne, Sydney, and Deakin universities have seen ATC embrace change in the manufacturing sector and to look positively to the future. ATC's culture embraces an active CSR program whilst proudly promoting Australian-made manufacturing. Paul has driven the company's growth through the Middle East and Southeast Asia from 2007 to present day. Current role at ATC includes overseeing international business development and strengthening the reputation of the multi-award winning company as a world-class specialist solution provider. Prior to starting ATC, Paul and his wife Annette owned and operated hotels and food establishments in country Victoria and Bendigo, and I'm sure you'll learn that Paul is very passionate about the gastronomy industry in Bendigo as well, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. A quick little introduction about Samir Verma. So Samir has approximately 10 years industry experience in the areas of scheduling and production planning, supply chain, projects, procurements in construction, equipment, and automotive companies. Previous to his role here at ATC, he completed his Masters of Engineering Management in Mechanical from Deakin University, Australia, followed by Bachelor of Engineering Mechanical from India, which he attained. Samir joined Australian Turntable Company as an intern in 2016 and supports the ATC team with documentation, quality control of product and processes, planning and purchase, and mechanical engineering requirements. Guys, very warm welcome to our online webinar series. Unfortunately, we can't meet each other face-to-face, not yet, but it's a pleasure to have you here. And on behalf of all of the students and the teaching staff, we welcome you, and please enlighten us with some information that we are very keen to hear about.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie. I'll kick this off, and thank you very much for those kind words. Our story is an interesting one. We can't deny that, but it's probably a story of adopting a can-do attitude on delivering something to the world with a global mindset. As you mentioned, my wife Nettie and I founded the company in about 87, 90, and being hoteliers, it was an interesting step into engineering, because I'm not an engineer and I still don't know much about engineering except how wonderful it is. But I was visiting, after selling my last hotel, I was visiting my late father, who was in his 80s, and he was trying to reverse out of his driveway, and he was having a great deal of difficulty when he said to me, I should build myself a turntable. And I said to Dad, tell me, what's that? And he went on to explain to me, and I said, well, let's do it. So that's where it started. And from there, after doing a little bit of research and a bit of homework, and I thought there was something in this business. I thought there was something there, but we had to find it and explore it and go through all of the motions the innovators do to take a product to market. And that's taken most of my working life to do that. But we have, thankfully, through strong commitment and an approach that requires persistence and perseverance and a very strong self-belief that we could achieve certain goals along the way. That's allowed us to improve and continually improve to reach a point where Australia Turntable now is recognised as #1 in the world in its field. In fact, we have very few competitors at the level we work in. Exporting now to, I think, 22 countries, including, as you mentioned, the Middle East, but we've now opened up America, South America, Alaska, and very, very soon our first orders are coming from India. That gives a great deal of satisfaction to the people in the organisation. It's been a family organisation that now employs about 28 to 30 people, with some offices and distributors around the world. I'm going to hand over to Samir because he's going to actually explain to you what we do, but then I'll come back to you and I'll explain and I'll talk to you about some of the things through innovation, about taking products to market, the important things, the very important things in that, but some of the joys and the tribulations that we experience along the way. Don't ever underestimate your power of can-do. If you've got a belief in something, you can achieve it. Don't ever, ever doubt that you can't. I urge you to think like that in your very young years compared to an old bloke like myself. I urge you to think very calmly and very clearly that if you've got a goal, you can get there. And you have the most wonderful, wonderful and abounding opportunity being presented to you now. So Samir is going to explain to you some of the projects we do and where we work. Thanks, Samir.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Eddie, and thank you very much of all of you to join this webinar. I just want to introduce myself first. My name is Samir Verma. I'm basically from India. I came here in Australia to pursue my master's. I am a graduate from Deakin University. I've done Masters of Engineering Management. In 2016, in my last semester, I got that opportunity. I really got that. That was a one-go opportunity for me to get into Australian manufacturing companies. Because someone has told me when I was pretty new here, to get a job in Australia, try to get an internship first. And I joined Australian Turntable Company as an intern. I have done my 6 weeks internship with Australian Turntable Company in 2016. And after completion of my internship, Paul offered me a job, full-time job that I happily accepted. And I shifted to Bendigo from Melbourne. I used to live in Melbourne with my brother. Now it is almost around 4 years to me. I'm living in Bendigo with my family, and I guess Bendigo is a place to be for me and my family. Before starting this presentation, I just want to quickly run one quick video about the introduction of Australian Turntable Company. Just have a look, and then we will talk about with a snapshot with the pictures of different turntables. What are the different applications? How we are managing? How we are fulfilling the requirements of different customers. So I'm going to start with this video first.
Founded in 1987, Australian Turntables is a world-recognised ISO-accredited company specialising in rotational movement systems. We provide turntables to a wide range of industries, supporting our clients from the initial concept of a project through to completion and beyond. As a family-run business, our reputation and profile as the global leader of high-precision rotating solutions continues to grow. All of our products are proudly designed, engineered and manufactured using only the highest quality components in our factory in Bendigo, Victoria. With a national support network in place, we can install and service our products all across Australia. Additionally, with distributors in 12 countries around the world, we have the capacity to efficiently serve international clients. Whether for manufacturing, construction, exhibition or residential and industrial property markets, we pride ourselves on our service excellence and ability to work creatively with customers to develop and implement successful rotational solutions. Our car turntables benefit any development where there is a need to maximise the use of available space or to facilitate traffic flow when vehicles are required to enter and exit in a forward direction. Our truck turntable range can benefit any development that receives heavy vehicles for delivery or collection purposes. Our standard range can accommodate any type of truck on the road, and our innovative approach to engineering means that we can rotate multiple trucks at a time, reducing queuing times. Industrial turntables can be used for the demolition, excavation and construction phases of a project. They are able to assist in maximising profits and project objectives, in addition to meeting council requirements concerning construction traffic entering and exiting in a forward direction. Our exhibition and showroom turntables will make your products the feature attraction of your business. Elevating your vehicles into premium viewing positions, our turntables ensure that your client's attention is focused on your feature model, enhancing their overall experience while they are in your establishment. We have a standard range of heavy-duty photo booth turntables suitable for commercial applications. These turntables help deliver consistent and reliable images whilst processing each vehicle in the shortest time frame possible. This increase in throughput generates extra revenue year on year. And if you are looking for a bespoke solution for your project, we can custom create a turntable for any industry, any application or to any size. We are the industry experts in rotating mechanisms, and we will design, engineer, manufacture and install your turntable to suit. Contact us today to discover how an Australian turntable can benefit your project.
Thank you very much for your attention. I just want to flick to the next slide. Basically, we are turntable manufacturing company. We are leading turntable manufacturing company residing in Bendigo. What we do, we make turntables from 1 meter to 20 meter, but this 20 meter is not the limit. 20 meter is not the limit. We are into a different sections. We are into a showgrounds, showroom turntables, construction turntables, domestic turntables, commercial turntables, industrial turntables, mining like we are almost with every industry, every commercial or domestic construction industry. So there are some snapshots. So as you can see on your screen, this is one example of domestic car turntable. When people got expensive houses and they do have a limited space, and basically it's not a turntable, as Paul mentioned all the time in all the presentation. I'm going to copy his line. We are not selling turntables, we are actually selling space. So more space within a space. So in your garage, in your driveway, more space. So another example of domestic car turntable. These are the deliverables we have completed these projects during these times to the different customers within Australia and overseas as well. So these are the few examples of car turntables. Now I'm going to talk about this commercial truck turntables. Commercial truck turntables where the narrow way to the warehouse to improve logistics, to improve safety, to create more productivity. You know, avoiding there are so many. First, just think about it. If there is a narrow space and truck is reversing, it's gonna take too much time. It's gonna this gonna compromise the safety to some extent if the driver or the management, they are not fully aware of the procedures. So the truck turntable, they are pretty reliable product. The commercial truck turntables, they improve productivity, they improve the timings, they improve the safety and the logistic management on the site. So as I mentioned you earlier, the truck turntable, this is the recent project last year we have done in Colombia. That is a limestone quarry, and we have delivered 20-meter truck turntable. Now you can imagine there's a team standing on the truck turntable corner, and you can see the size of this turntable. That was really a huge turntable. So this slide is pretty much when we are on the halfway. This is pretty much 75% of the completion of truck turntable, that 20-meter in Colombia. And this is how it looks like. You can see there are 2 truck turntables, 2 trucks on the turntable. They rotate 360 degrees on the same go. That improves safety, that improves productivity, site logistics and management. Another gem of this company, that is a relocatable construction turntable. It is not like we are selling turntables all the time to the construction companies or the different requirements with the customers. We are hiring, we are giving turntables for the hire. For example, they're gonna be some sort of a construction site, and maneuvering logistic, that is taking so much time on the site because there are so many trucks came in, going out, and they are taking so much time to hold this whole process. So Australian Turntable Company has innovated one revolutionary product that is pretty much most of our construction suppliers or the clients, they are asking for this turntable. We give them turntable for the hire, and what we do, we just give them a turntable. Our project guys been on site, and they install that complete turntable in 4 hours. That's a achievement. That's another level of commitment for the safety and the site management. This is another picture of the same truck turntable relocatable on site. The same turntable to improve the safety, maneuverability inside the turnout. We have done this with the airport link site in Adelaide, right? So in Adelaide, in Brisbane. In Brisbane. So as you can see, when the trucks goes in, they no need to reverse back. We are putting the turntable inside, and what they can do, they can load or unload their loads, and just with the help of truck turntable, they just gonna rotate 360 degree and drive back. Yeah. You want to say something? Yeah. I just want to play another video that is a snapshot of the recent projects throughout the years we have done in Australian Turntable Company. Just have a look.
can, everybody, I'll explain now not so much about the product, but what are some of the elements of taking product to market that's important for people who are studying and discussing innovation. I have a very simplistic view on innovation. You have heard on many occasions different definitions. My definition is more on pragmatism, and that is innovation for me is the improvement of a process or a product that's already in place, the product or the process. It's not the invention of a new product or process, but rather just the improvement. And that might seem a little innocuous with regards to the product we make, but in actual fact, by specialising and concentrating on the work we do, we identify out of all the things that make up our product and all the processes and all the techniques that make up our product, we can improve every one of them continually. And by doing that, it opens up opportunities to take products into further markets. Most innovators are looking to take a product to market. Some are providing us an opportunity to improve a service, but most innovators are looking to take a product to market. And that process requires a great deal of commitment. I can assure you that if there's anything that can go wrong in the innovation journey, it will. And the innovator has to be prepared to accept that failure and mistakes are part of the journey. And once they recognise that, once you recognise that mistakes are part of the journey, then it throws a completely different light on how you approach your work. There was a saying by Truman Capote, the American novelist, failure was the secret ingredient in the recipe for success. I couldn't agree more. And we all have to embrace failure as part of our travels into taking products to market. But one of the more important things, and I can put this to you now, even in the work you're doing now as students, and Eddie and Demir as well, unless you understand why you're doing it, what you're doing and why you're doing it, you can lose your direction and you can lose your focus. And what that understanding is referred to in the business world in particular, in all over, is to understand your purpose as to why you're doing what you're doing. Fortunately, our team here at ATC, as we refer to it, is fully conversant with why we do what we do and how that drives us to improve. Our purpose in business is to enable a smarter use of space through our turnaround thinking. That opens up every avenue for us to grow our markets, because making turntables is not a sustainable business. Selling space is a sustainable business. And you can all appreciate why, particularly like some here, people who live in heavily populated cities, or even in Melbourne and even now parts of Bendigo, where traffic management is a critical part of any city planning, and the traffic flow can be disrupted by people reversing. It can also be very dangerous. So we've addressed our business future around how can we eliminate some of those problems, how can we solve some of those problems, sorry. We can do that by eliminating the reversing procedure. The photo on your screen now is something we're taking to market in the mining sector. This is big business for us, and it's big business globally. Samir, I'd like you to put up, I'd just like to expand a little on our notion of purpose for the kids in particular. I have a shot there on our alignment statement.
Yeah.
For purpose, just put that up here. And then I'll show you what some of our other very well-known companies around the world, how they look at purpose. What makes a good purpose? When you sit down and you work out why you're doing what you're doing, and you need to pass that message all throughout an organisation, or for how big, no matter how big the organisation is, you have to define this purpose. It has to be meaningful. In our case, enabling a smarter use of space does that. It has to be memorable. If it's memorable from our position, we're a commercial enterprise where we make stuff to sell, then people remember us for us. Motivational is a cultural element that when an organisation gets fully committed and owns and embraces the challenges that goes with that, they are instantly motivated to continue. And we must manifest what our purpose is by explaining it to the market. So when you align purpose and try and align your purpose with all of the other very important parts of your business, which are vision and values and your brand promises and so forth, then you can construct something that people understand. And I think we might have a slide here that helps us explain that for Australian Turntable, the alignment statement. This one here. And this everybody was probably nearly the most defining and profound moment in our 30 years history, where we understood why we're doing what we're doing and how important innovation is in that journey. If I can just go through those, where I've mentioned our purpose, and we just go around the outside there, we look at what we're promising, what we're promising everybody, and how we're achieving that promise through our practice, and aligning that with why we're doing what we're doing brings these other elements into consideration. Our customer cause, we want our customers to be very happy. We want them to be a little excited, as they are. I can't tell you the number of people, when we put this revolving platform in the ground, a number of owners jump on that platform and they say, wow, isn't that fantastic? And all we're doing is standing on a revolving platform. We have to have a very important consideration for our brand promise. We're saying we're the best in the world. We want to make it a very simple exercise for people to deal with. But there we go to the left-hand side there, and we look at our vision. And let me explain this to all innovators. If you're innovating, you need to be, you want to be recognised for what you're doing. You certainly want to be valued for what you're doing. And valued means, in many cases, people will pay the price for what you're offering. And you want to be chosen because people respect what you've done and why you've done it and the work you do. So we want to be recognised, valued and chosen for our space solutions that turn around the way we build, work and live. That encompasses industries from shipping to aviation to mining to construction to residential to the arts and the theatre and the television. And our values, as every company will have its values, underpin everything we do. So we embrace challenge. We fully commit, our organisation fully commits to a challenge. We know we won't get everything right. We know we'll make some mistakes. We try and think smartly through it all. Keeping it clean, what we're referring to there is we will only do clean business. Clean business is good business. We won't undertake business around the world, and we have plenty of opportunities to do that with corruption and bribery. It's not the way we do it. At the end of the day, every person here owns their role, and they own and are part of the business. In your journey of innovation, there's one underlying, undeniable factor, and that is, if you're an innovator, you're an optimist. You have to be, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. You believe what you're doing is for the better and for the good. And if you do innovate and you succeed in that innovation, you'll have plenty of failures along the way. If you do innovate and you continue along that path, then you will get great joy out of doing what you've done. So understanding why you're doing what you're doing, enjoying what you're doing is part of the gig. And through that through that optimism, you'll continue to innovate all throughout your life. You just can't stop. You can't stop. We've taken, in a very simple story, we've taken a product that was first put on the ground by Galileo in 1575. And only was it improved about 3 or 4 occasions. Once in the Industrial Revolution, once in the Second World War, and not much after that. When a couple of people came along who were hoteliers, they have no idea of engineering, they know nothing about welding. I can't read some things that the engineers read, but we knew that we believed in what we're doing. And through that, we've been able to achieve a result that's we're very proud of, and we're proud for the people around us. If you don't mind, I'm going to let, in a moment, I'm going to let Samir just, we might show the mining one in a minute.
Yeah.
But I want to touch on something that's really important. We want your engagement. It just so happens that I have the pleasure and the honour to chair an organisation in Bendigo called the Bendigo Invention and Innovation Festival. It's been a program that's been going for 10 years, and it has brought to the world the most extraordinary stories of innovation and products to market. Now this year, in light of the bushfires and in light of COVID, we see the most wonderful opportunity to talk to people around the world, get their spirits up, and be optimistic about the future. Change some of the language that's out there that we've heard in the press around some industries, particularly manufacturing, and dispel some of those mistruths. If I can tell you that manufacturing there's a perception out there of manufacturing in Australia that it's dirty, it's underpaid, and it's insecure. It couldn't be further from the truth. Manufacturing is going through a most wonderful transition into what we refer to now as Industry 4.0, where a great deal of automation, digitisation, a thing they call servitisation, where machines talk to machines, are going to form and make up the new world of manufacturing in the future. And that's the world you'll belong in if any of you are interested in engineering and manufacturing. So we've themed this festival this year, Optimism Through Innovation, and one of the things we're going to do is we're going to generate 1,000 voices of optimism in Bendigo, for Bendigo. We're going to do lots of other things, but that one in particular, I'm asking Trobe and Eddie, if you can help us here, to get a quote of every student that's listening to us today on what makes you optimistic. And every one of those quotes is going to be printed in the Bendigo Advertiser, and I can assure you it will go further than that. It will go online globally, because we're establishing a program where we're saying to the world, we can do it. We can do it if we try. I can assure you, if we say we can't, we won't. If we say we can, we will. And if it takes some regional centres to stand up and say to everybody else around Australia, come on everybody, we can get through this. This isn't a big problem. We'll get through it. We'll find a way, and we'll see, and we'll try and tell people and show people right now that everybody is innovating. And if you look around you, the most wonderful stories of people making good and making fun out of some of the things, the environment they've had to work in right now. And some things are going to change for good for forever. And we're not going to go back the other way. That is innovation. What we're doing now is innovation. We've adapted to the Zoom world, to the webinar world, completely. The air's cleaner. There's less traffic on the road.
Yeah.
There's less crime happening. There's an amazing. Some things happen, and I think what this COVID done, despite all the sadness that's gone with the deaths and the sickness, so just putting that aside, I think we've got a slightly happier world, a slightly better world.
Yeah.
And I think if everybody, in particularly your age group, looks ahead with a very positive and optimistic viewpoint, I think we can do it. And I'd love to see you do it, because it gives me great excitement. I'll just hand over. Let me show you a video of something. Shamir might show you a video of something we're doing, which is in the big end of town. It's pretty exciting for us. We're dealing with the biggest companies in the world. They're coming to us. We're not going to them because they want us to solve a few problems for them. And those problems are all around space and safety.
Yep.
The mining video.
Yep. After this. Thank you, Paul. I just wanna continue with this presentation. We are, as Paul is talking about mining turntable. Mining is a huge sector, and we have already delivered some products to mining sectors, and as with the reference of this video, you can see how productive is that turntable, is the turntable for the mining industry in every aspect, in the saving of fuel, in the saving of value, in the saving of money, in the saving of productivity, improving productivity, improving the logistic and management. You will see that all those things with the reference of this quick video.
If I can, Eddie, if I can, Eddie, I just want to skip back to what I was speaking about with purpose and how important it is for the kids. And sometimes a visual is just the best way to explain. Everybody understands what we do now, why we do it. But let me show you some purpose statements from more well-known companies around the world, and I'd like the kids to really have a look at this. I call the kids, the students, to have a look at this to just see how important it is for a company. Let's go. Here we go. Nike. This is their purpose statement: to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world, and they do it. We see it all the time,
Yep.
and that's part of the reason why they are there. Google. And you see how their brand fits in with everything that they try and proclaim and achieve. Strong companies. This one you'll all be aware of. Disney. And finally, probably, and Lego. And gee, we aspire to be any company. To tell you the truth, Australian Turntable Company employees talk about this a lot. If we aspire to be like any other company in the world, it's actually Lego. Now they can manufacture production centres all around the world, and everything fits perfectly. And probably my favourite one here, and this is a small company in Melbourne, very similar to ourselves, and they manufacture wheelchairs for the disabled, and a company called Magic Mobility. And isn't that a wonderful, wonderful representation of what they do and why they do it? And if that's the message they can get across, then they have a captive audience. What they have to do then, like all of us have to do to be a competitive player in the industry globally, is we have to ensure that we deliver quality. Quality in product and quality in service. And whatever business you go into, kids, you know, understand that the strength of that business and the sustainability of that business is in delivering quality. The Australian-made brand right now is the strongest it's ever been. And the world is coming to us. You're hearing a lot about reshoring and onshoring, and not relying on the rest of the world to sell our raw materials to and then buy them back. We have the most extraordinary opportunities presenting to us now. And if we capture those opportunities and governments have recognised it, then the work opportunities come from there. On manufacturing, we're going through a process of educating a young primary school down in Bendigo, or to grade 10, I'm sorry, that manufacturing isn't just the fellow in the factory with the welder. Manufacturing is the girl or the lad at the reception desk. It's the accountant. It's the designer. It's the salesperson. It's the engineer. It's the creative person in the marketing department. It's the IT people. It's the legal people around you. It's the people on the factory floor. It's the people who buy the materials in, like what Samir does for us, and the procurement and the distribution. It's the people who handle all logistics around the world. Just this moment, if I can refer back to the leading title of this organisation, we are in Kangaroo Flat. That's our head office. Kangaroo Flat, Victoria, and we've just delivered a product into New York. Yep. And that organisation came to us here. That gives us a great deal of satisfaction and a great deal of pride. And not only New York, but we're off to Chicago and Miami, Singapore, Florida, Middle East. We've got jobs going everywhere. That's what can be done. Believe in yourself to do that. If you're innovators, you'll be optimistic about it. It requires the very strong virtues of perseverance and persistence, just as studying does, and a can-do attitude with a global mindset. I think we can finish it there, Eddie, if that's all right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Very, very insightful. In fact, I think this last image here and the manufacturing Magic Mobility is something that one of our student groups will be very, very interested in, because they are currently working on a solution in this particular area. So I will ask them to think about any questions that you might be able to answer them as well. But in the meantime, we do have one question that came up really early on, and that was, so this is Callum from JD Enterprise, says, what is the lifespan of the product in regards with construction? As such, is it a one-time use, or can the turntable be retrofitted elsewhere once the construction period is finished? And I think you guys did answer that, because you have two business models there. One is actually selling it, and the other one is renting it out, leasing it, etc., etc. But what happens in some of the other instances as well? Have people in the past, taken a turntable out of one place and put it elsewhere? I mean, that's perhaps the question that's sort of blowing up here.
Well, let me answer that in a couple of ways. Our products are designed for longevity. We would typically give a 25-year lifespan. on a product in a permanent situation with substantial warranties and guarantees around that. In the construction environment, and this was something that came to us a few years ago when we recognised all the issues that they were having on building sites, particularly in city building sites. This is where they're mostly used. The contractor of a major builder, it might be a lend lease or someone, they don't particularly want to own this equipment. They want to use it for their benefit during the construction period. That could be demolition, excavation, and construction, and use it to their advantage to improve safety, efficiency, and productivity. But once it's gone, they don't want to hang it up onto it after that. So that's where the hire model comes in. That's a product that we would typically bring back and refurbish. That product is generally hired out for about 2 years at a time. That's generally the length of a very big building contract, 18 months to 2 years. So on that, the engineers, I let the engineers do all that, Eddie. The boys here, they know what they're doing. They design stuff, and to make it, all I ask for is we deliver high quality. I'll mention this to everybody. Quality will win the game for sustainability. In everything you do, quality will win. Price, Australia has no hope in the world of competing on price, and we shouldn't try and compete on price. We don't need to compete on price. We've got all the raw materials, but we can compete on quality. And another adjunct to that is typically in exports, which is a major part of our business. We have exchange rates that suit Australia. If we buy all our materials in Australia, we're not importing, and we don't import a product to manufacture our own products. But by exporting, we certainly have an advantage globally through the exchange rates. And that's come to fruition, that we're growing, particularly in America, where we have very little competition in quality. We have competition in price, but the people around the world now are deciding they want quality.
Absolutely, Paul, and I think you've made a very good point there about quality and quality of manufacturing Australia-wide. And we can look at a recent example of that as well, given the current COVID-19 pandemic, where lots of products were being sourced globally, in particular PPE. So PPE products coming in, low-cost products from around the world. That's not to say that all the low-cost stuff that's coming in is garbage, but there was a lot of poor product, and it really damages the reputation not only of a particular company, but of that entire nation, city, manufacturing cluster, once one company does a bad job. And if we look at a slightly more sophisticated component of this entire COVID-19 pandemic, and that is the respirators that were being manufactured. The Australian market was very quick to react in this particular space, but one thing that it perhaps didn't do, it wasn't the quickest off the block. And that didn't really matter, because in the end, it proved itself that quality was actually what sustained the manufacturing. And there's a lot of articles around the world now saying that Australian respirators that were made during this time, even though they weren't the first ones off the block and being sent around the world, they will be the ones that will be there as last on the block, given the quality and the assurance that something that comes out of Australia has been thoroughly checked and meets Australian standards, with it, which even looking at global, even ISO standards, we have some Australian standards which are localized. The quality of manufacturing coming out of Australia is just world class. And you can rest assured when a medical device, and not only medical, but let's focus on medical for now, comes out of Australia, you are rest assured that that is a quality product that meets all the standards and isn't going to damage someone's health. And that's where we can win out long term. So thanks for really drawing the attention to the quality. We do have one more question. So we have Nicholas Dovicic. He says, what was the most difficult part of bringing this product to market? So I guess, Paul, you can talk us through the early stages of Australian Turntable Company. I'm sure it wasn't all smooth sailing to start with, and perhaps some of the challenges of going global. So maybe going Australia-wide and then going global, the cultural differences. I know we talked about the turntable that you installed in Iran as well, and some of the challenges that you faced there. So maybe give us a few examples.
Yeah, no, that's right. The most difficult part at the end of the day, when we look back over the years, was to get our product right. And what we realised is, like any other manufacturer, the application for the product required different designs. I'll give you an example. We rotate cars around in driveways to eliminate the reversing procedure and to save space. We rotate them in showrooms for showroom purposes. We rotate them in television studios for advertising. And we rotate them in exhibitions, short-term exhibitions like motor shows. They're all doing exactly the same thing. And not one of those products underneath the platform looks exactly the same.
Yep.
Not one of them. So we had to go through the process of learning what was important to the customer. What was important to the customer for the driveway turntable was price, it was reliability, durability, it could withstand the weather and could withstand various activities happening on the platform. That meant nothing to the owner of the showroom. He wanted something that was deadly silent, absolutely deadly silent. You could not hear a squeak. Now, the turntable in the driveway, by virtue of its design, you'll hear it rotate. Just imagine in a perfectly quiet showroom, having a squeak at every rotation, it repeats itself and drives you mad. The product for the exhibition industry was a product that needed to be designed so that it could be transported, set up in less than an hour, and we did that in 20 minutes, perform in an environment continually for a week or 2 weeks, be pulled down in less than an hour and be transported in a crate to the next show, all around the world. Noise was a factor, but not the most important one, because in an exhibition there's a lot of noise. But the design needed to be modular and one for transportability. And the last one, I think, was television industry. And the television industry is very heavily geared to sophisticated camera technology and electronics. So we want a platform that runs very, very smoothly, no bumps, no anything. So that meant that we had to go through the process of making plenty of mistakes before we can get products in all of those industries right. And we multiply that by the same thing in the transport industry for trucks and the construction, or for the aviation industry, or the arts or the theatre. So getting our products right, which meant we had to get our designs right, which meant we had to bring people in to understand, learn, build, fail, build again, fail again, make a mess of it, not get paid for it. So when you multiply that and you decide to do that overseas, oh by golly, and then you decide to do it in countries that really aren't used to doing business with Australia, then that added another dimension. We've had some most wonderful experiences in Africa, the Middle East, Iraq, as you mentioned, Iran in particular. Eddie, we designed and built at the request of the client. They came to us, we didn't go to them. The world's largest revolving restaurant, at 50 metres in diameter, and it was 400 metres in the air. And I remember being over there when the boys were installing it, and it was -21 degrees at the top of the fourth highest tower in the world.
minus 21 degrees?
Minus 21 degrees.
Wow.
And we're designing particular additives like fasteners that were chemical fasteners to make sure that the product was when it was put into the concrete slab, it was stationary. We couldn't apply them because they wouldn't set. So all of these learnings you had to go through and the mistakes you had to go through. But we never lost sight of what we could achieve, and we never ever let a customer down. There's plenty of times we made a mistake and made a mess of it. We went back and fixed it up. But what that did was it built our reputation and as being ethical, backed our product, backed our people, and allowed us to continue to grow. We don't have most of our work comes to us. We have recently attempted, and it's been very successful, some posts on LinkedIn, and it's been extraordinary what's happened from there. So our business is gradually changing. You mentioned the cultural differences. Well, I've had a goal here for a long time, Eddie, that we have 10 languages spoken in this company.
Yeah.
At times we've had 5. It's 4 now, but we want people from all around the world to feel that when they ring up and talk to us, that they know instantaneously that they've made the right decision. And your students can do this, that if they apply themselves wholeheartedly to what they're doing and endeavour to get better and better, the employers will recognise that, and then the employers' customers will recognise that they're quality, committed people trying to do the best they can. We all will make plenty of mistakes, and I haven't lost the ability to do that, I can assure you, on a weekly basis. But if the students go into their workplaces with a mindset that they're going to do their best, they need to understand what's got to be done, and that's very clear between them and their employer, but they're committed to doing that and learning and continually improving, which is innovation. It's innovation. Then they have nothing to fear. Absolutely nothing to fear. The future is never more exciting than it is now, and particularly in manufacturing. I can't think of the best words here, mate. It's extraordinary for people like myself to see this, and we're seeing what's ahead, knowing that it'll be completely different. It'll be completely different. How we manufacture in 5 years' time will be different to how we do it now. But the skill sets that are required for that are what the kids are learning now. I'll tell you a little story about the Spanish government and a big company called Siemens. Siemens recently took over the Spanish rail system, and they didn't take on the project of supplying trains. What they promised the Spanish government was they would guarantee on-time delivery every day, all day, every day. And what they're doing there is they've got enough technology out there now and data and machines talking to machines that they can predict how many people are going to get on a train any day. And it might be because more might get on one day than another, because there might be a festival or an event or a sporting event in the particular town. And because of that, what they do is they put their emphasis into predictive and preventative maintenance. All of that information is being given to them by technology. All of the information. That's servitization. Machines are talking to machines, and the machines will tell each other when they have to be repaired or fixed or serviced or whatever. That's the world we're about to enter. And the digitized world and the automated world is so complex and so opportunistic for the rest of the world that manufacturing is embracing it. Manufacturers like ourselves will adapt and will change gradually. But the future of it, requires these new skills. And the innovators and the early adopters and the disruptors are going to take a very big part in that play. And the disruption we're seeing now, as I said to you earlier, Eddie, the disruption of COVID, if I can just put the sickness on that aside, the disruption for me is exhilarating because of what people are doing to adapt. It's a very exciting time for an old bloke.
Absolutely, you get to see how things transform and really see the impact of the new technologies in your business, but also across the entire industry, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. We just wanted to ask one question of Samir as well, because we have a couple of international students listening to this presentation, and there'll be a whole bunch of them that will listen to it after we've completed the recording. Very interesting story. We spoke about it to start with, that you came over from India. There are thousands and thousands of students coming over from India to Australia.
Yeah.
In engineering in particular, there's a general interest in engineering and the sciences from India as well. And some of the challenges that we've seen for international students in general, but let's talk about Indian students first of all, because you're Indian, is that there's a big cultural shift in terms of the workplace. And obviously you've done very well for yourself. You're working in an amazing company. You've obviously had various challenges to get there in the first place, but can you talk us through and perhaps provide some advice for other international students who are often coming in with the mindset international students can't get jobs, can't get internships, automatically excluding themselves before they even start to look for opportunities? You know, what are the challenges? How did you go about doing it? How did you overcome the challenges? And what advice can you provide for other international students going about this journey?
Yes, Eddie. Yes, that's a very good question. And I still remember I was in Deakin University. I was doing this kind of presentation in front of first year students, and someone asked me the same question: how you get a job and how I'm not going to get a job? And my answer was, just stick to your plan. The very first thing is, I know. When we came from a different culture, we came from India or any other country, we do have to manage so many things at once. Now we are not living with the family; we are living by our own. We have to do some part-time jobs. We have to bear our expenses. We have to take care about every possible thing. Where back in India, our parents, our family members, they are helping us to deal with those situations. Uh, I remember first day in my Deakin Uni when there was an orientation program. Dr. Arun Patil, he was a director of engineering management studies. When he announced after his 15-minute lecture, when he announced there gonna be some sort of internship options for the students, for the engineering management students, and I was sitting at the back, and the very moment that line hits to me, and I decided I'm gonna get at least one internship for me, because that is a gateway to enter into the Australian industry. And I've done that. How I have done that? Because I was really stick to my ambitions. I really stick to that. I have to work in the industry. If I'm studying engineering of Masters of Engineering Management, I have to do the same job what is relevant to my studies. I know when we do some sort of part-time jobs as an international student or overseas student, we started getting comfortable in the jobs, and we were just started waiting. Okay, the moment I'm gonna finish my studies, I'm gonna be full-time here. Whether, see, I'm not picking any profession, whether that's a warehouse job, whether that's a driving job, whether that's a restaurant job. But being an engineer, we should be very focused. We should be very determined, and we should be very realistic towards the approach, how actually we want to see. This is pretty much your self goals, where you want to see in 2 years or 3 years. I know sometimes this can get difficult, but I know most of my classmates, even though those who didn't get the internship, they have secured jobs in Australian industries, because they have that motive, they have that goal, and they were pretty ambitious to secure jobs. So this is what I say: be optimistic.
Absolutely. And thanks very much for that advice as well, because one thing that I noted is, 2015 is when you came over, correct?
Yeah.
So you completed your studies in 2000 and end of 17.
No, 2016.
Okay, 16.
End of
So
2016.
in less than a couple of years, realistically, you have come a long way. And I don't know how, or what your presentation skills were like when you first came to Australia, but I have to say, very, very impressive. And your knowledge of the company and your ability to convey information. I guess that is such an important skill that a lot of people overlook coming into the Australian workplace, the ability to be able to take perhaps somewhat complex information and present it in such a way that anyone can understand it. And I'm sure Paul's done a really good job in coaching you as well and helping you understand the portfolio. But congratulations to you for doing such a great job. And Paul, congratulations for you as well for expanding your international cohort inside the company. Guys, again, big thanks on behalf of myself, Dr. Mitrich, and the entire Bendigo and Melbourne student cohort who have listened to this presentation. As always, it's great to see the company's doing well, despite the fact that COVID-19 pandemic is slowing down business in other areas. I'm sure you guys will come out stronger than ever on the other side. And I will certainly do my best and work with the students to be part of your campaign. I think it's a wonderful initiative. I think Trobe University is definitely behind the whole campaign, and anything else that we can do. And hopefully some of our students will be able to get involved in the festival as they always have in the past. So guys, big thanks. Sending you my greetings, and hopefully we can catch up in the near future face to face.
Thanks, Eddie. That's much appreciated. And for your Indian students, I can give them one little bit of further advice. Are we there?
Yeah.
Are we still there, Eddie?
Yep.
Make sure they barrack for Australia in the cricket.
Yeah, I guess that's the best advice that you can give him. If you want a job at an Australian Turntable Company.
See, Eddie, I just want to add on in the same line. We are pretty much friends. We are pretty much team 360 days in a year, right? Rest 5 days, we are Indian Australian. Because
I like that.
Those 5 days are cricket days.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, look, that's what makes Australia such a great country, that we have so much diversity, and yeah, everyone lives in harmony and we can all be what we want. But at the end of the day, we're all working for a common goal as well. So guys, thanks again. It's such a pleasure to, listen to you speak, and let's catch up in the near future. And hopefully some of the students that are still on this call, you can always reach out to Paul and the team there. They're such great supporters of Bendigo in general, but also students from Melbourne. Lots of opportunities. Guys, have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Tamir.
See you, mate.